Good afternoon, and welcome again to Unfeigned Faith Ministries, where my name is Deacon Irons. We're led by our wonderful minister, Minister Lee Rodman, and of course our fantastic First Lady Lakeisha Rodman. Again, I want to thank each and every one of you for connecting and just continue to be a part of Unfeigned Faith Ministries. I'm not going to be in front of you too long. I never try to be in front of you too long, but I just want to continue on and just reiterate on the topic yesterday of the straight and narrow way and staying on that path, right? And as we all grow and know that if the path is easy, that's the path we typically we want to take, right? Because we want to take it's like water running down the mountainside. It's going to take the path of least resistance because that's what it does. The wide road is attractive because everyone else is probably on it, right? There's less resistance, less criticism, less sacrifice. But Jesus teaches us that the path leading to life is not wide, but narrow, right? So the narrow path requires daily choices. So when we think about the things that we do each and every day, because we can't worry about yesterday, we can't think about tomorrow, we have to choose this day whom you serve. And we can find that in Joshua 24, 15, right? Every day we face choices, uh, whether we tell the truth or being deceptive, where our integrity or compromise our integrity, whether we're going to forgive one or maintain our bitterness, obedience, or we're going to uh, be convenient in certain ways. So just think of the enemy, right? The enemy says, take the easy way. Those individuals around us, or people that are demons or whatever come against us, right? We'll say, hey, take the easy way. And in our natural instinct, we'll want to take that easy way. But in Luke 22:42, where it says, nevertheless, not my will, but thy will be done. And we have to make sure that we're following God's path and not our path or the path that our enemy tells us to take. So the straight and narrow path is choosing God's will over our own. And we have to remember that. So when no one is watching at work or at home, wherever the case may be, the narrow path is still the right path. And I know as a Marine, we all say we always do the right thing, even when no one is watching, right? That's part of one of our ethos, or how we are developed and built. The narrow path will not always be popular. And that's something that we got to remember. In Romans 12:2, and be not conformed to the world, be ye transformed by renewing of our mind. So the narrow path may not be the popular path, right? We're going to have some challenges. One reason people leave the narrow path is because they feel a pressure to fit in, especially in today's world, right? Where social media, once you have to fit in on social media, you have to, go with the flow. And if you don't agree, then you will be, talked about, or people will talk about you on social media. But you got to think about this. One of the greatest stories of the Bible was Noah, right? Noah walked that narrow path, even while people was mocking him for building this massive boat, right? People was like, he's crazy, he's not doing it. But he took him years to build that boat, and people mocked him. Let's talk about Daniel. Daniel walked the narrow path while others bowed to idols. Hey, we see that, right? It's hey, but you got to bow down to all these idols when you hear the bell ring. Daniel didn't do it. God never called his people to blend in with the crowd, right? He has always called them to stand out, to be different. So that's something that we have to realize and really face the fact of, right? Uh, if if I yet please man, I should not be the servant of Christ. And you can find it in Galatians 1:10. So who are we pleasing? Who are we? Whose path are we following? Are we trying to please God and follow His path and His direction, or are we being influenced by social media and people around us? The, the crowd may validate you today, right? You may get all those likes, thumbs up, hearts, whatever it may be on social media, but only God can sustain you tomorrow. So again, God's with you today. Tomorrow, something happens. That crowd could turn against you, right? But God will not turn against you. So the narrow path produces eternal rewards. And you got to remember that when walking with Christ, he's going to reward you eternally. And that's what we're striving to, right? The narrow road produces lasting transformation. And that's what we want as Christians, to be transformed from our body. So in closing, like I said, I wasn't going to stay with you too long. Just remember, uh, as believers, we are pursuing something far greater than those likes, those thumbs up, those hearts on social media. All right. So in 2 Timothy 4, verse 7 and 8, I have fought a good fight and I've finished my course. I have kept the faith. Right. So Paul understood that staying on God's path was worth every challenge. And if you again read the Bible and go back in a lot of these stories, you can see many others who had a path to follow. When they stayed on that path, how blessed they were in life. And I know it's difficult, especially today when people can influence you in many different ways. Just remember that God is the only influence that you really need to worry about and care about. And walking on this path and staying on this path will be full of joy and comfort. All right. So do not judge God's plan today as a part of discomfort. Judge it by tomorrow's destination. So where you are right now might be uncomfortable, but tomorrow, your destination that God has prepared for you is going to be a blessing. Amen. So as always, I don't like to stay in front of you long. So my thing for you this week is day by day, staying on God's path, keep your head up, and just remember there will be temptations, distractions, setbacks, and moments when you wonder if it is worth it. And at the end of the day, I'm going to tell you a good Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and he will fulfill your path, your destination, and everything that is required. Amen. So again, my name is Deacon Irons here on Faith Ministries. We're never like to leave you nor depart your sight without always reminding you and encouraging you that until next time, hold on to your faith. Have a safe, blessed, and fantastic week. And again, just stay hydrated and cool out there.